Father, I come to you right now, and I bring with me a heart that is tired. Not tired in the way that a single hard day makes a person tired. Tired in a deeper place. Tired in the part of me that keeps going even when it doesn't feel like there's anything left to give. Tired in the part of me that smiles when it's expected to smile, that answers I'm fine when it isn't fine, that keeps showing up, keeps trying, keeps holding on, long after the strength for holding on ran out. Lord, before I say anything else, I just want to be still for a moment. I want to stop performing, stop pretending, stop managing everyone else's expectations of me, and just breathe. In this quiet moment, let my shoulders drop. Let my jaw unclench. Let the tightness in my chest ease, even just a little. I am not asking you for a miracle in the next 60 seconds. I am asking you for permission to simply be tired in your presence, without having to explain it, without having to justify it, without having to be strong for one more minute. You already know. You knew before I opened my mouth. You knew this morning when I woke up and the weariness was already there, waiting for me like it had never left. You knew when I lay down last night and my mind wouldn't stop turning over everything I didn't finish, everything I'm afraid of, everything I don't know how to fix. You saw every version of me today, the one who kept it together in front of other people, and the one who nearly broke down in a quiet moment when nobody was looking. You saw both, Lord, and you did not turn away from either one. So I come to you now, not with a polished prayer, not with the right words in the right order, but with what is actually true. I am weary, my heart is heavy, and I need you. I think of the people who might be listening to this prayer alongside me right now, and Lord, I lift them up to you too. For the one who is exhausted from carrying a family that doesn't know how much they carry. For the one who is tired from working so hard and still feeling like it's never enough. For the one whose body is tired because their mind won't let them rest, and whose mind is tired because their heart won't stop aching. For the one who has been strong for everyone else for so long that they've forgotten what it feels like to be cared for themselves. For the one who is simply, quietly, deeply worn out by life, not by one crisis, but by the slow accumulation of 1,000 small burdens that never seem to end. Lord, you see every one of us. You do not measure our exhaustion and decide who deserves comfort and who doesn't. You do not require us to prove that we have suffered enough before you will meet us. You simply see tired hearts, and you draw near to them. That is who you are. That is what your Son said with his own mouth when he looked at the crowds who were worn out and scattered, and he said, "Come me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Not come to me if you've earned it. Not come to me once you've figured everything out. Come, just as you are, just as tired as you are. So here I am, Lord, here we are, tired and coming anyway. I want to acknowledge, honestly, what this tiredness feels like, 'cause I don't think you want me to hide it from you. There is a kind of tiredness that sleep does not fix. I can rest my body for 8 hours and still wake up feeling like I never stopped running. There is a tiredness in my spirit, Lord, a weariness from hoping and not seeing, from trying and not seeing enough change, from praying and wondering if the prayers are even landing anywhere. There is a tiredness from being needed by everyone and feeling unseen myself. There is a tiredness from smiling through disappointment, from staying steady when everything inside me wants to collapse, from being the strong one, the responsible one, the one who holds it all together so that everyone else doesn't have to. And Lord, if I am honest, there is sometimes a tiredness that comes with a whisper of shame attached to it, a voice that tells me I shouldn't feel this way, that others have it worse, that I should be more grateful, more resilient, more faithful. But I don't believe that voice comes from you. I don't believe you ever looked at a weary person and told them their weariness was an inconvenience to you. I believe you looked at weary people with compassion, the way you looked at the crowds in Galilee, the way you looked at the woman at the well, The way you looked at Elijah under the broom tree when he was so exhausted he asked to die, and instead of rebuking him, you sent an angel to feed him. Let him sleep. You didn't lecture Elijah about his lack of faith. You fed him. You let him rest. And only after he was fed and rested did you gently ask him what was wrong. So Lord, let me receive that same gentleness right now. Before you ask anything of me, before you call me to do one more thing, one more act of service, one more act of faith, let me simply be fed. Let me simply be allowed to rest here in this moment, in this prayer, in your presence, without pressure to perform, without pressure to fix myself before I'm allowed to come near you. I bring you my body, Lord, which carries this tiredness in ways I don't always notice until it aches. The tension in my shoulders, the shallow breathing I don't realize I've been doing, the heaviness behind my eyes. I ask you to meet me even in my body, to remind me that you made me as someone who needs rest, and that needing rest is not a flaw in your design, it is your design. You rested on the seventh day, not because you were tired, but to teach us that rest is holy, that stopping is not laziness, that stillness has a place in a life devoted to you. I bring you my mind, Lord, which will not stop working even when I beg it to be quiet. The lists, the worries, the conversations I replay, the what-ifs about tomorrow, the regrets about yesterday. Lord, I ask you to quiet the noise, even if just for these next minutes. Let this prayer be a place where my mind can finally set its burdens down, instead of turning them over and over like stones in my hands. And I bring you my spirit too, Lord, the part of me that is meant to stay connected to you even when everything else feels disconnected. I confess that in this tiredness, I have sometimes let my time with you slip, not because I stopped caring, but because I simply had nothing left at the end of the day to give to prayer, to your word, to quiet reflection. Forgive me for the seasons I've drifted, not out of rebellion, but out of sheer depletion. Draw me back gently, the way a shepherd draws back a lamb that wandered off simply because it got tired of keeping up with the flock, not because it wanted to leave. I bring you my heart, Lord, the deepest part of me, the part that gets tired in ways I can't always explain to other people, the part that has hoped and been disappointed, the part that has loved and been hurt, the part that has tried and fallen short. The part that keeps asking, quietly, whether it's even worth it to keep hoping. Lord, meet me there. Meet me in the tired place. Don't wait for me to clean it up first. Come into it exactly as it is. Because here is what I know, even in my exhaustion, even in my weariness, you have never asked me to carry what I was carrying alone. Somewhere along the way, I picked up burdens that were never meant to be mine to hold by myself. I started believing that if I let go, even a little, everything would fall apart. I started believing that my strength was the thing holding my life together, that my effort was the glue, that if I stopped pushing, even for a moment, everything I care about would collapse. But Lord, that is not what you taught. You said, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. You said it is your care, not my strength, that holds things together. You said your yoke is easy and your burden is light, not because life becomes easy, but because I was never meant to pull the weight alone. You were always offering to walk beside me, to share the load, to carry what I cannot carry, to hold what I cannot hold. I think I forgot that. I think I let myself believe I had to do this by myself. So right now, Lord, I want to remember. I want to lay it down. I lay down my need to control every outcome. I don't know how to do this perfectly, Lord, but I want to try. I lay down the finances I keep worrying over, the ones that keep me awake doing math in my head at 3 a.m. I lay down the relationship that isn't what I hoped it would be, the one I keep trying to fix with my own strength and my own words, when maybe what it needs is your healing instead. I lay down my children, if I have them, their futures, their choices, their hearts, because I cannot walk every step of their lives for them, and I was never meant to. I lay down my health, my body's aches and uncertainties, the parts of me that don't work the way they used to or the way I wish they did. I lay down my career, my sense of not being where I thought I'd be by now, the comparison that creeps in when I look at other people's lives and wonder why mine feels so much harder. I lay down the family relationships that are strained, the ones I don't know how to repair, the conversations I keep avoiding because I don't have the strength for them right now. I lay down my fear of the future, the vague, formless fear that something bad is coming, that I won't be ready, that I won't be enough. Lord, I lay all of it at your feet, not because I have suddenly figured out how to stop caring about these things, but because I trust that you can hold them better than I can. I trust that surrender is not the same as giving up. Surrender is choosing to believe that you are trustworthy enough to receive what I cannot carry. Surrender is not weakness. It is one of the bravest things a tired heart can do. And even as I lay these burdens down, Lord, I want to thank you. I know gratitude can feel strange when someone is exhausted, when someone is barely holding on, but I don't want to let my tiredness convince me that I have nothing to be thankful for. So let me thank you even now, even like this. Thank you for this breath, and the one before it, and the one that will come after this prayer ends. Thank you that you have kept me alive through every hard season I have ever walked through, even the ones I thought I would not survive. Thank you for waking me up this morning, even if waking up felt hard. Thank you for the roof over my head, however humble. Thank you for the people who love me, even the ones who don't always know how to show it well. Thank you for the moments of unexpected kindness that have come my way, a stranger's smile, a friend's text at just the right time, a small mercy I almost missed because I was too tired to notice it. Thank you for the doors that closed, Lord, even the ones that hurt when they closed, because I trust that you were protecting me from something I could not see. Thank you for the doors that opened, even the small ones, even the ones that didn't look like much at the time. Thank you for the lessons I did not want to learn but that made me who I am today. Thank you for grace, the grace that has covered my mistakes, the grace that has met me in my failures, the grace that does not run out no matter how many times I need it again. Thank you for salvation, for the fact that my worth was never based on my performance, but on what your Son already did on my behalf. Thank you that I do not have to earn my way into your presence. I am already welcome here, tired as I am, imperfect as I am. Thank you for the friends who have shown up in small, unglamorous ways, the ones who brought food when I didn't have energy to cook, who sat with me in silence when I didn't have words, who kept checking in even when I stopped answering as often as I should have. Thank you for every ordinary act of love that has quietly carried me through this tired season, even the ones I was too exhausted at the time to properly notice or thank. Thank you for the moments of laughter that broke through the heaviness, even briefly, because joy, even a small flicker of it, is still a gift from you, and I don't want to take it for granted just because it didn't last as long as I wanted it to. Thank you for music that lifted my spirit on a hard drive home, for a meal that tasted good when little else did, for a good night's sleep on a night I wasn't expecting one, for small comforts that reminded me you still care about the details of my life, not just the large, dramatic prayers. Thank you, too, for the hard things I don't yet understand. I don't always know why certain seasons have been so difficult, why certain prayers haven't been answered the way I hoped, why certain doors have stayed closed for so long, but I choose to trust that you are not wasting my pain. I choose to believe that even the things I cannot make sense of are somehow being used by a God who sees the whole story when I can only see this one weary chapter. Lord, I think too about the kind of tiredness that comes from doubt, the quiet, uncomfortable exhaustion of loving you and still wondering, some days, whether you are really listening. I don't say that to dishonor you. I say it because I trust you enough to be honest with you. There have been nights when I have prayed and felt nothing in return, no warmth, no clear sense of your presence. just silence stretching out into the dark. And that kind of silence has its own particular way of wearing a person down. It is tiring to believe when belief doesn't come with feelings to confirm it. It is tiring to keep showing up to prayer, when prayer sometimes feels like speaking into an empty room. But Lord, even as I say that, I remember that your prophets felt this too. I remember David, who wrote entire psalms asking how long you would hide your face from him, how long he would wrestle with his thoughts and have sorrow in his heart all day. He did not pretend the ache wasn't there. He brought it to you directly, and somehow, in the middle of his complaint, his heart still turned toward trust. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. Let my honesty do the same tonight. Let me bring you the doubt without shame, and let it lead me back to trust rather than away from it. I think, too, of the tiredness that comes from hidden battles, the ones nobody around me knows about, the private fears, the struggles I've never said out loud to another person, the thoughts I wrestle with alone at night. The parts of my story I keep tucked away because I don't know how they'd be received if I shared them. Lord, you already know every hidden battle I carry. I don't have to unveil it perfectly in words for you to understand it. You see behind every mask I wear, and you love what you see there, not the mask, but the real tired, struggling person underneath it. Thank you for being a safe place for what I cannot say to anyone else. And I think of the tiredness that comes from feeling forgotten, from wondering whether my life matters, whether my prayers are noticed, whether, in a world so full of people and needs and noise, you truly see one small, weary heart like mine. Lord, remind me that you are not a distant God managing the universe from far away. You are the God who numbers the hairs on my head, who knows my name, who collected my tears in a bottle before I even had words to explain why I was crying. I am not lost in the crowd to you. I have never once slipped your notice. Now, Lord, I want to ask you for healing, not a vague healing, but a real and specific one, for the parts of my heart that this tiredness has worn thin. Heal the part of me that has started to believe rest is something I have to earn. Teach me that rest is a gift, not a reward, and that you offer it freely, the way a parent picks up an exhausted child without asking what the child did to deserve it. Heal the part of me that feels guilty for needing help. Remind me that even Jesus, fully God and fully man, allowed others to walk with him, to support him, to be near him in his hardest hours. If he did not carry everything entirely alone, neither was I ever meant to. Heal the disappointment I carry from unanswered prayers. Lord, there are things I have asked you for that have not come, not yet, maybe not ever in the way I hoped. And some days that disappointment sits heavy on my chest. I don't want to pretend it doesn't hurt. But I ask you to heal the bitterness that disappointment can turn into if I hold on to it too long. Help me trust your timing even when I cannot understand it. Heal the exhaustion that comes from comparing my life to others. Help me remember that you are not asking me to live anyone else's story. You are only asking me to be faithful with mine, tired as it sometimes makes me. Heal the shame that whispers I am not doing enough, being enough, achieving enough. Lord, you never measured my worth by my productivity. You measured it by the price your Son paid for me. That price was paid in full, whether I check every box on my to-do list or not. Heal the loneliness that sometimes comes with being tired, the sense that no one truly understands how heavy things have felt, that even those closest to me only see the surface. Lord, you see beneath the surface. You see what no one else sees. Let that be enough to steady me on the days when I feel unseen by everyone else. Heal my identity, Lord, where it has become tangled up in what I do instead of who you say I am. I am not just an employee, a parent, a spouse, a caretaker, a provider. I am your child. Before I am anything else to anyone else, I am yours. Let that truth settle deep into the tired places of my heart tonight. Heal the weariness that has crept into my closest relationships, Lord, the moments when I have been too tired to be as patient, as present, as kind as I want to be with people I love most. I don't want exhaustion to keep taking from the relationships that matter to me. Restore what tiredness has quietly worn away between me and the people I care about. Give me the grace to be honest with them, and give them the grace to understand what I cannot always find the words to explain. Heal, too, the weariness in my faith itself, not my faith in whether you exist, but my faith that things can actually change, that prayer still matters, that hope is not naive. Lord, I don't want to become someone who has quietly stopped expecting anything from you simply because I am tired of hoping and being let down. Rekindle something in me. Even a small ember of expectation is enough to start with. I don't need a bonfire tonight, just a spark that says maybe, just maybe, you are still working on my behalf. Lord, I also want to pray honestly about the uncertainty I carry, because so much of my tiredness comes from not knowing how things will turn out, not knowing when relief will come, not knowing if the thing I'm hoping for will ever actually happen. I confess that faith has felt hard lately, not because I've stopped believing in you, but because believing has felt like holding onto a rope with hands that are shaking. I want to have great faith, unwavering faith, the kind that doesn't blink in the face of hard circumstances. But honestly, Lord, some days my faith feels small and fragile, more like a whispered, "I hope so," than a bold declaration. And I think that's okay. I think you've always worked with small faith. You once said that faith the size of a mustard seed could move mountains, not because the faith itself was large, but because the God behind it was. So even on the days when my faith feels smaller than a mustard seed, I bring what I have. I don't need to manufacture more conviction than I actually feel right now. I just need to bring you what's true, tired hope, small but real, and trust that you can do something with it. For the person who is waiting for answers that haven't come, waiting for the diagnosis to change, the relationship to heal, the job to appear, the child to come home, the marriage to be restored, the pain to finally lift, Lord, meet them in the waiting. Waiting is one of the hardest forms of tiredness, because there is no clear finish line, no way to know how much longer it will last. Give them endurance for one more day, and then, when that day is done, endurance for the next one. For the person who cannot see what you are doing behind the scenes of their life, who only sees the mess, the delay, the silence, remind them that a seed does all its most important growing underground and in the dark, before anything visible breaks through the soil. Their unseen season is not a wasted season. You are working even now, even in the dark, even in the waiting. For the person whose prayers feel like they're bouncing off the ceiling, who has asked and heard nothing back, Lord, I ask that you would give them a fresh assurance that you have heard every single prayer, even the ones that felt like they disappeared into silence. Your silence is not your absence. Sometimes it is your way of working in ways too deep for us to see yet. For the person who feels like nothing in their life is changing, who wakes up to the same struggle, the same ache, the same disappointment day after day, remind them that transformation often happens slowly, quietly, the way a sunrise happens, so gradually that if you watch too closely you might miss the exact moment the darkness became light. But it happens. The light comes. It always comes. Lord, I find comfort in remembering that your word is full of people who grew tired, and that you never once treated their tiredness as a failure of faith. Moses grew so weary of leading your people that he told you plainly it was too heavy for him to carry alone, and instead of scolding him, you gave him 70 elders to share the weight. Martha grew so weary from serving that she snapped at her own sister and even at you, and you answered her not with anger, but with a gentle correction that made room for her to sit down and rest instead of striving. Your own disciples, in the Garden of Gethsemane, on the most important night of their lives, fell asleep from sheer sorrow and exhaustion when you asked them to stay awake, and even then, you did not condemn them. You simply said their spirit was willing, but their flesh was weak. You understood the tension between wanting to be faithful and being human, and your own son, walking this earth in a body like mine, grew so tired from his travels that he sat down at a well at midday because he needed rest, needed water, needed a moment before he could keep going. If the Son of God allowed himself to grow tired and to stop and rest, then surely I can allow myself the same grace tonight. So, Lord, when I say my heart is tired, I am not confessing a failure. I am simply telling the truth about being human, in a world that is heavy, walking a road that is long, doing my best to remain faithful along the way. You do not love me less for being tired. If anything, I believe you draw nearer to weary hearts, the way a parent draws nearer to a child who has fallen and scraped their knee, not with disappointment, but with compassion, ready to lift them back up. Now, Lord, I want to bring before you this tiredness specifically, this weariness of the heart, and ask you to speak into it directly, because I believe there is something you want to say to a person whose heart is tired, and I don't want to rush past hearing it. I think you want to say, you do not have to hold everything together by yourself anymore. I think you want to say, your worth was never dependent on how much you could carry. I think you want to say, it is not weakness to rest, it is wisdom. I think you want to say, I see the parts who no one applauds, the quiet perseverance, the private tears, the effort nobody notices, and none of it has gone unseen by me. I think you want to say, you are allowed to stop striving for a moment and simply be loved. I think you want to say, I have not brought you this far to abandon you now. I think you want to say, rest in me does not mean the problems disappear. It means you no longer face them alone. Lord, let those words sink deep into my tired heart tonight. Let them settle in the places where exhaustion has made me forget who I am and whose I am. I think, too, of the different people who carry this same weariness in different ways, and I want to pray for each of them specifically, because tiredness rarely looks the same from one life to the next. For the single parent listening right now, exhausted from being both provider and comforter, both disciplinarian and encourager, doing the work of two people with the strength of one Lord, be their strength when their own strength runs dry. Send them help in tangible ways. Let them feel, even for a moment, that they are not doing this entirely alone. For the caregiver who is quietly running on empty, tending to a loved one's needs while their own needs go unspoken and unmet, see them, refill what has been poured out. Send someone to check on the one who is always checking on everyone else. For the person grieving someone they lost, whose tiredness is really grief wearing a different name, Lord, comfort them in the particular exhaustion that sorrow brings, the kind that makes even small tasks feel enormous. Be near to the broken-hearted, as your word promises you are. For the person working multiple jobs just to make ends meet, whose body aches from labor, and whose mind aches from financial worry, Lord, provide for them. Give them rest even in seasons that don't allow much room for it. Let them sense your provision even when the numbers don't yet add up. For the person in ministry or service who has poured out love to others for so long that they have nothing left to pour for themselves, Lord, refill them. Let them receive the same grace they have spent their life extending to others. For the student overwhelmed by pressure and expectation, tired in a way that feels too heavy for their age, Lord, give them wisdom beyond their years and peace beyond their circumstances. For the person walking through illness, whose body is tired in the deepest, most literal sense, Lord, strengthen them physically where medicine can help, and strengthen them spiritually in whatever ways surpass what medicine can reach. For the person who is tired of waiting for their prayers to be answered about a spouse, a friendship, a reconciliation, Lord, renew their hope. Let them trust that your timing, though it feels unbearably slow sometimes, is never careless. For the person who feels spiritually dry, who has been going through the motions of faith without feeling much of anything for a long while, Lord, meet them there too. Even dry seasons are seasons you are present in. Even when we cannot feel you, you have not moved. For the person who is starting over after a loss, a failure, a diagnosis, divorce, a disappointment, who is tired before they've even begun again, Lord, give them courage for new beginnings, even weary ones. For the person who has been the peacemaker in their family for years, absorbing conflict so others don't have to, growing quietly exhausted from holding relationships together with their own two hands, Lord, remind them that reconciliation is your work too, and they were never meant to carry the whole burden of everyone else's peace. For the person who recently became a caregiver overnight, through a diagnosis, an accident, an aging parent's sudden decline, and hasn't had a moment to grieve the life they had before, Lord, give them space to breathe in the middle of the chaos, and give them people who will show up for them, the way they are showing up for others. For the immigrant or the person far from home, tired from building a new life in unfamiliar soil, missing faces and places they cannot easily return to, Lord, be their home when home feels far away. Let them sense your presence as a constant, no matter how many times their surroundings change. For the person recovering from burnout, who gave everything to work or ministry, or a cause they believed in, only to find themselves running on empty with little left to show for it, Lord, teach them that their worth was never in their output, and give them permission to rebuild slowly without shame. For the elderly person, tired not from one season, but from a long life of labor, love and loss, who wonders some days what is still left for them to do, Lord, remind them that their life is not measured only by what they can still produce, but by the wisdom, the prayers, and the quiet faithfulness they still offer the world simply by being present in it. And for me, Lord, for whatever specific weariness has brought me to this prayer tonight, whatever it is I haven't even said aloud yet, meet me there too. You already know what it is. I don't have to spell it out perfectly. You already see it. Now, Lord, I want to speak some things over my own heart, not because I have arrived at perfect faith, but because I believe declaring truth, even through tired lips, has power. I declare that I am not what I carry. My burdens do not define me. You do. I declare that weariness is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that I am human and that I have been trying, and that trying, even imperfect trying, matters to you. I declare that I will not let exhaustion convince me that I am alone. You are with me in this moment, and you have been with me in every moment before it. I declare that my strength does not come from what I can produce, but from you, who renews the weary and gives power to the faint. I declare that I will not despise this season of tiredness, because even here, you are shaping something in me that comfort alone could never shape. I declare that hope is still alive in me, even if it is quiet right now, even if it is more of a flicker than a flame. I declare that I trust you with the parts of my life I cannot control. I declare that my future is not resting on my own strength, but on your faithfulness. I declare that I will rise again, not because I am strong, but because you are. I declare that this season of weariness is not the end of my story, it is simply one chapter, and you are already writing what comes after it. I declare that I do not have to understand everything in order to trust you with everything. I declare that your mercies are new every morning, which means tomorrow does not have to carry the weight of today's exhaustion. I get to begin again, however small that beginning feels. I declare that being tired does not disqualify me from being loved by you, used by you, or held by you. If anything, my weakness is exactly the place where your strength has room to work, because your power is made perfect in weakness, not in my own manufactured strength. Lord, I want to take a moment now, just to breathe, and to picture myself literally setting something down before you like laying a heavy bag at your feet. Whatever has felt heaviest today, whatever thought keeps circling back, whatever worry has been sitting on my chest like a stone, I picture myself placing it in your hands right now. I don't have to pick it back up in this moment. I can just let it rest there with you for as long as I need to. And if there is a person's name on my heart right now, someone I love who is also tired, also struggling, also in need of your rest, I bring them before you too. Whatever name comes to mind, Lord, I lift them up. You know exactly what they need, even better than I do. Meet them where they are, the same way I am asking you to meet me. Let's stay here a moment longer, Lord, before I move on. If there is a specific weight on my chest right now, a conversation I'm dreading, a bill I don't know how to pay, a diagnosis I'm afraid to face, a relationship I don't know how to mend, let me name it quietly in my heart right now, even if only to you. I don't have to say it out loud. You already know the shape of it. I just want to place it deliberately into your hands, the way I would place something fragile into the hands of someone I trust completely. And if there is a specific person on my heart, someone whose own tiredness weighs on me even as I carry my own, let me bring them before you as well. Whatever name comes to mind right now, Lord, I lift them to you. You love them even more than I do. You are able to reach them in places I cannot reach, to comfort them in ways I cannot offer, to carry them through their own weariness the same way I am asking you to carry me through mine. Take a slow breath in and let it out slowly. There is nowhere else you need to be in this moment. There is nothing else required of you right now except to remain here, quietly, in the presence of a God who is not in a hurry, who is not tired of you, who is not disappointed in you for needing this pause. Lord, I don't know exactly what tomorrow holds. I don't know if the tiredness will lift quickly or if I will need to keep leaning on you for a while longer. I don't know if the situations weighing on me will resolve the way I hope, or in some way I haven't yet imagined. But I know who holds tomorrow, and that has to be enough for tonight. Give me wisdom for the decisions ahead of me. Give me discernment to know what to hold on to and what to release. Give me patience for the process, even when I want it to move faster than it is moving. Give me courage to keep showing up, even in my tiredness, trusting that you are strengthening me even in ways I cannot yet feel. Give me peace doesn't depend on my circumstances lining up perfectly, the kind of peace that guards my heart and mind, even when nothing around me has changed yet. And give me rest, Lord, real rest, not just physical sleep, though I need that too, but the deeper rest of a soul that has finally stopped fighting to control everything and has chosen instead to trust the one who is actually in control. As this prayer begins to draw toward its close, Lord, I want to return once more to surrender, because I think that is the posture my tired heart needs most right now, not striving, not fixing, not performing, just open hands laid quietly before. I release my need to have everything figured out tonight. I release my need to be strong for everyone else in this exact moment. I release the guilt of not doing more, being more, giving more, when I am simply out of more to give right now. I release the fear that resting means falling behind. I release the belief that my value is tied to my productivity. I release the ache of unanswered questions into your hands, trusting that you are not obligated to explain everything to me before I am allowed to trust you. I release the weight of tomorrow, because today already has enough for me to carry, and you have promised to give me what I need exactly when I need it, not before. Lord, let this moment be a landing place. Let the noise settle. Let my breathing slow. Let my heart, tired as it is, feel, even briefly, the specific, personal comfort of knowing that the God of the universe has bent low to meet one weary person tonight, and that person is me. I think of your promise that you give rest to those you love, not as something we chase and never catch, but as something you give freely to those who come to you honestly, tired and empty-handed. I receive that gift tonight, Lord. not because I have done anything to deserve it, but because that is who you are, a God who restores, who renews, who gives strength to the weary, increases the power of the weak. I think of your promise that those who wait on you will renew their strength, that they will rise up as if on wings, that they will run and not grow weary, that they will walk and not grow faint. I don't feel like I'm running anywhere right now, Lord. If I'm honest, I feel like I can barely walk. But I trust that this promise applies even to today, even to this small, tired step of coming to you in prayer instead of trying to muscle through on my own. That counts as waiting on you. That counts as trusting you, and I believe you honor even that small step. I think of the words that say, "You will restore my soul," that you will lead me beside still waters, that you will make me lie down in green pastures, not force me, but make a way for me to finally stop running long enough to rest. Lord, make a way for me tonight. Make a way for peace to enter this tired heart, even if only in small measure, even if I have to receive it one breath at a time. I don't need every answer before I feel peace. I don't need my circumstances to be resolved before I let myself be at rest in you. I just need to remember, over and over, as many times as it takes, that you are near, that you are for me, that you have not forgotten me, and that you will never grow tired of loving a tired person. So Lord, as I bring this prayer to a close, I want to leave this moment with you holding what I came in carrying. I don't need to pick every burden back up on my way out. Some of it, I trust, you will simply continue to hold, even after I say amen, even after I stand up, even after I return to the ordinary tasks of my day or night. Thank you for meeting me here. Thank you for not asking me to be anything other than exactly what I am right now, tired, honest, and still choosing to trust you. Thank you that your love for me isn't contingent on my energy, my performance, or my ability to hold everything together. Thank you that you are patient with weary hearts, gentle with fragile faith, and endlessly near to those who are worn out and looking for somewhere safe to rest. I will keep going, Lord, not because I've suddenly found a burst of strength I didn't have before, because I know now, in a fresh way, that I am not going alone. You are with me in the tiredness. You will be with me tomorrow, in whatever it brings. And you will be with me the day after that, and the day after that, for as long as this season lasts, and for every season that comes after it. I don't need to feel completely renewed by the end of this prayer to know that something in me has shifted. Maybe it's small, maybe it's just a slightly slower breath, a slightly looser grip on the burdens I've been carrying, a slightly quieter mind than the one I brought here. That's enough. That's exactly the kind of small, quiet work you do in tired hearts. Not always dramatic, not always instant, but real and steady, and enough to carry me into whatever comes next. I think about the peace you promised, not the peace the world gives, which depends on everything going right, but the peace that guards the heart and mind even when circumstances haven't changed yet. I ask for that peace to settle over me now, to stay with me after this prayer ends, to meet me again tomorrow morning, before my mind has a chance to spiral back into worry. Let it be the first thing I reach for, before the noise of the day gets loud again. I think about the rest you give, not just sleep, though I welcome that too, but the deep, settled rest of a soul that has stopped fighting to hold everything together on its own. Let that rest find me tonight. Let it meet me in bed, in the quiet, in the space between wakefulness and sleep, and let it still be there when I open my eyes again. I think about the hope that remains, even now, even after everything I've named in this prayer, the disappointments, the waiting, the doubts, the hidden battles. Hope is still here, Lord, because you are still here, and where you are, hope has a reason to stay. I choose to hold on to it, however loosely, however tiredly, trusting that you will hold on to me even more firmly than I hold on to it. I think about the trust I want to keep building with you, not a trust based on getting everything I ask for, but a trust based on knowing your character, your patience, your kindness toward weary people throughout every page of your word and every season of my life. I trust you tonight. I trust you tomorrow. I trust you in whatever this season still has left to unfold. I think about the confidence I want to carry forward from this moment, not confidence in my own strength, which I know now is limited, but confidence in yours, which I have never once found to be lacking. Whatever tomorrow requires of me, you will supply it. Whatever this week still holds, you will walk through it with me. Whatever this season demands, you will not demand it of me alone. There is still hope, even in a tired heart. There is still love, even when I have little left to give. There is still you, steady and unchanging, holding what I cannot hold, carrying what I cannot carry, loving me exactly as I am, tired, imperfect, and still here, still trying, still yours. I am not alone tonight. I was never alone, not even in the most exhausted, most overwhelmed moments of this season. You were there in the quiet mornings when I didn't feel like getting up. You were there in the long nights when sleep wouldn't come. You were there in the ordinary, tiring middle of an ordinary, tiring day. And you are here now in this prayer, closer than my next breath, gentler than I expected, more patient with me than I often am with myself. So I rest now, Lord, in you, not because everything is resolved, not because the tiredness has completely lifted, but because I have remembered, in this time with you, that I was never meant to carry any of it by myself, and that truth alone is enough to carry me forward. Thank you, Lord, for this time together. Thank you for rest. Thank you for grace. Thank you for hope that does not depend on how strong I feel, but on how faithful you are. Thank you for meeting a tired, hard heart tonight and not asking it to be anything other than exactly what it is. In the name of Jesus, who knows what it is to be weary, who knows what it is to carry a heavy burden, and who promised rest to every soul who comes to him, I pray. Amen.